Um, I've been making some changes to the Guystore app, and one of the things I wanted to do is add a small customer-facing kind of storefront, um, so that users can display their goods and interact with their customers by just sharing a link. So, but what I'm gonna do now is just go over the process of adding those items. So I have some images I downloaded of cake, keto cake. This is the name of the item. I'm gonna make this 999, and I don't have a barcode to scan. It's a purchased item. Quantity I have 20, and units is just gonna say pack. Um, item type. Sorry, I did that already. Cost. So I'm gonna charge $2,000 per cake, and my selling price is gonna be. So the cost to me is $2,000, and my selling price is gonna be 500. And I'm gonna include um, a VAT rate of 5%. And the wholesale quantity, there's no wholesale quantity for this, and there's no wholesale discount. And the category, I'm just gonna put it in, let me see if I have baked goods. Foods and beverages is fine, and report level optional. So if I have five left, um, batch number, do I need to generate a batch number? No, I don't. So best by date, I'm gonna say it's gonna be good for 7 days. Description, do cake, and I'm gonna create this item. So that item is there now. I'm gonna add another item. I'm gonna add just cheesecake. Cheesecake. I'm gonna make the number right, and then no barcode. Purchased quantity. Make it 20 again. Unit pack cost. This one is more expensive, and sales price is going to be $3,000, and fat is still 5, and no wholesale quantity category. Um, food and beverages reporting level 5, best by date, whatever I want it to be, and then create this item. So the new option that we have right now is you can go when it's launched. It's not out as yet, but you could go to public store, and then you could add an item. Now, in order to add an item here, the items need to exist in your inventory, right? So I'm gonna add the keto cheesecake, right? That's gonna add the item here, and then I can edit it. And from this point, I could upload images of the item, right? So I'm gonna add thing downloads. I'm gonna add this one and yep, this image here. Oop. So I can, from this section here, I can modify the description, um, modify the description of the item, um, white cream, add an additional item, additional image, sorry, same item, multiple images. So the price is already set here, the title is already set here, and that is pulled directly from the inventory item when you created it. And now you can save the changes. You save the changes, your item is created here. I'm gonna add another item, and I'm gonna add just cheesecake. So I already added keto cheesecake, so I can't add it again. So cheesecake just shows up there, and then I add the images. So I'm gonna add this image and done. Um, Who cake. I'm gonna add this image here. So as you can see, the price is already there. You can add up to 4 images. The images are scanned. You can edit the images here. They're restricted to a certain size and so forth. So save changes. So now you have your two products, right? You can display them to your customer. You can also set the details of your store. So this is your store name. This is what your customer is going to see when they get there. And then this is your store identifier. So you name your store a certain way. You could, if you got a particular name you want to use, you can use that name to identify a store. Uh, you can enter a contact email address, right? So that the customers can email you about the items. And you could also add your social media links here. The links won't show up if you don't add them. So you have your social media here, and then here you have your limits, right? That tells you exactly what's going on, how much of what you could add, and so forth. Um, then there's this option here to visit store, which is basically the link itself that you can share with your customers. Right. So this is it basically, and you have your store icon, which you already uploaded when you whitelisted your store, and then you have your two items. From this point, you can click on your item and you can see the details about the item. We have a description you put in there, what the price is, and the customer can browse the images of your item, right? And if they want to email you, they can click a link to copy the email. I'm toying around with adding a feature where the customer could like send a message and then it shows up in like a internal chat sort of thing, where you can see the messages without necessarily going through email, but that's just the idea. Yeah, and you can share this link. So you can copy this link and send it to the customer and you can share it there. Right now, um, I won't be able to do that because, well, I mean, it's my local. I could copy it from here and then just bring it over here and then just run it like that. And then you can share the link. So you can share the link with your customers. It's a unique URL, unique to your store. It's a subdomain from the main site, but it's all in this process of trying to allow the user more flexibility and also more customizations to make the product their own. And in that vein, let me just go over a couple of things. So there's now a settings option here for the store configuration. So, you have your store and you could basically customize it the way you want. You can set your currencies, you have your organization ID, and you could upload your store logo as well as put your store name. So when the customer um, when you add these options, right, that allows you to control kind of like the look and feel and the vibe of your store. I haven't added like theme customizations and so forth because that's kind of like you know, a next level kind of thing. And I don't have a lot of time. I got a lot of things going on. So every time I get like a couple of hours, I would jump in here and make some changes. Um, you have the option here to do services. So let's say, for example, you bake cakes and you want to add that as a product, you can add that as an item, right? It's not going to be in the inventory because it's not the same parameters, but you could add a name service and you can add a name service and add your price and so forth and your details here as well. And you can attach that service. So, for example, maybe you're selling handbags online and your handbags have to be delivered. You could add the delivery as a service and then, attach that. So, first thing I'm going to do is create the service. So, I'm going to call the service delivery name delivery, right? And the description is I I bring you cake, and the price for delivery is um, $500, right? And no VAT. The duration, it all depends. It's not necessary. And the category is I don't know what you call it. I don't need to set the category. Um, and that's it. So save the service. The service is saved. So in my POS, I want to check out. So the first thing I'm going to do is look for the product cheesecake. So cheesecake is here. I add the cheesecake. So the person wants two cheesecakes. I add the two cheesecakes, and I need to deliver these two cheesecakes. So I also add the delivery. So now I have a total of the cheesecake and the delivery service for checkout. So then I can proceed to checkout, and I can enter the customer information in here. Um, Search for the customer. If the customer exists, it's going to show up. If not, I can add the customer. So and an email address, and I could choose cash. Well, right now we don't have an MMG option, but I do plan on integrating MMG into this shortly. So now you can complete each transaction as a cash transaction. You complete the transaction, and it's going to generate your receipt. You could reverse the transaction from here. You could email the transaction, and you can print it as well. So this is the actual receipt. You can print it out and give it to the customer. So if you go to your POS transactions, you will see that transaction there, right, with the receipt number and so forth. And you can also view the transaction details for like a more detailed view. You want to go back to the receipt or do any work from this point, right? You can also reverse transaction from here, which is essentially Python. Yeah. So this a basic process of how you would use services, right? On the normal POS, you would just go through checkout using that same process. Um, and yeah, I mean that's it so far. Um, there's also a how-to page here, and this has a bunch of details on how you could use each aspect of the application, how the supply chain works, and so forth. So I think this is a good, this is a good place to start when you first start using the application. And I'm gonna also continue to upload videos explaining different aspects of it and different feature sets as we roll them out. Yeah. So that's it for me right now. And that's basically just explaining a new feature, which is the customer front-facing page, where you could display products to the customer, and just a little walkthrough of services and POS, and how services would integrate in your overall application flow. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna do another video where I discuss the overall like concept of the entire application and why I think it's important, and also some interesting aspects, a little bit more technical about how inventory handles certain things. But this video is already probably too long, so I'm just gonna drop out right now, and then you know I'll see you guys in the next video.